Helping us lead off this very first discussion, Republican State Senate Education Committee Chair, Senator Steve West of Paris. And we have Senate Minority Caucus Chair, Democrat Senator Reggie Thomas of Lexington. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us. And a very special thank you as well for being our very first guest. It means a lot. Each week, we hope to cover a variety of topics during our time together and give you a roadmap of sorts into the debate that you'll be seeing over the next half hour. This week, we'll begin with the widespread debate over school choice and if the issue will be finally settled by voters in November. Then we will take on the issue of teacher pay after Kentucky dropped lower in a new report by the National Education Association. And finally, we will discuss affordable housing and if communities are meeting the demand that's needed. So, gentlemen, let's jump right into it. We'll begin this morning with a years-long hot topic, school choice. Voters will be deciding in November a constitutional question that should hopefully put the issue to rest. The back and forth over funding charter schools has continued for several years since they were first legalized to operate in the state in 2017. A 2022 law that would have created a financial framework for these schools to operate is the most recent legislation on this issue to be ruled unconstitutional. Now voters will decide if the Constitution should be changed to allow the state to provide financial support for educating students that are outside the public school system.
I believe that the two, being charter schools and public education, can live together and actually thrive together. We were able to make historic contributions.
60% of Kentucky's counties lack certified private schools. Kentucky's rural communities and the students who call them home will be the hardest hit.
So, Senator Thomas, I'll let you start the conversation on this issue. Will this ballot amendment actually settle this question once and for all?
Well, it will settle this question, but you just showed the clip from Representative Shirley Stevenson when she pointed out that Kentucky has 120 counties, 72 of which, Bodie, do not have any kind of alternative school. So this amendment, if hopefully it doesn't go the wrong way and allow for money to be going to private schools, it's going to significantly impact and harm the amount of money it's going to go to public schools. It's really going to destroy public education in a very major way.
Senator West, I imagine your opinion is probably a little different.
It is a little different. The reason for the need for this is our Constitution over 100 years ago put into place a system of common schools, and it's very restrictive. And the courts, Kentucky courts, have read that in a very restrictive way. And so our efforts as General Assembly to enact choice legislation, enact monies going to more choice options, that's been stopped in the courts. And so over the past several years, as a legislature, we finally came to the conclusion with the passage of HB 2 that the voters can decide. And so now in November, Kentucky voters will determine, they're not determining specifics, they're just determining that the legislature has the ability, if they choose to do so, to enact more school choice, more monies going to school choice options.
I'm curious about the point raised by Senator Thomas about why rural areas would be interested in this. Is that a conversation that's happening now among some of your colleagues?
Yes, there's a lot of conversations, and those conversations have been going on for many years. To us, this is not a red or blue issue. School choice across the nation, red states have it, blue states have it, and it doesn't seem to be really controversial in other states. But because of our restrictive common schools language, it is pretty controversial here. We don't look at it that way. On the Republican side anyway, we look at it as more choice, more options for students and parents. Across the country where you see school choice, you don't see it, tearing down the public system. As a matter of fact, I think every other state that is above us in rankings and scores, NAEP scores, has school choice options, except for maybe Vermont, I think, is the outlier. But so it's not the death knell of public schools. And for instance, in Indiana, they passed school choice 20 years ago or more, and only about 4 or 5% of their population is in charter schools and something of that nature.
To Senator Thomas now, should people have more choice in their school options. Some parents may look at what's happening in JCPS, for example, and think, maybe I want to explore some other options for the kid.
Well, Bodie, let me ask you a question this way. People have school choice now. To hear this argument that we need school choice is really a false argument. Fayette County Public Schools today, Bodie, have 67 different options. If you're a Fayette County parent and you reside in Fayette County and Central West's district is part of Fayette County, you have 67 different options. I mean, your child can you have a wide range of options that you can choose from to educate your child. In preparing for this, I looked at Central West's district, Bourbon. They have they have a Catholic school and a Christian school, 65 students. They have Harrison County, Catholic school, 35 students. They have Round County, 30 students and 200 students. So there's not a big, and Fleming County doesn't even have a private school or parochial school option.
Well, Senator, since you bring up Senator West's district, I mean, thoughts on those particular schools that may be pretty well funded, needing some additional support very quickly.
Yeah. State the question one more time, please.
Schools that may be very well funded already, if they have a strong donor base, for example, would they need additional help from the public?
That's
funds?
In some cases yes, in some cases no. And so Senator Thomas is correct. We currently do have a lot of choice options, but those are mainly, if you're well-to-do and you're well off, sure, you can send your child to a private school, and you have that option. However, if you have less means, if you're a poor student, you're stuck in that public system no matter what the case. So the hope is that this opens up choice to not just the wealthier parents and kids, but also the poor students as well.
Well, I know there will be a lot more discussion on this particular issue as we get closer to November, but unfortunately, we have to put the pause right here. Later